The coffee in the cup trembled. Small ripples appeared, then grew stronger. Kate Morrison, a 31-year-old animal behaviorist, stopped writing in her observation notes and stared at the cup. Something was wrong. The ground was shaking. The tent poles rattled. Kate rushed to the tent entrance and looked outside, and she froze. In the distance, on the horizon, a massive dust cloud was rising. Dark shadows poured out from within. Buffalo. At least 200 of them. The entire herd seemed to be in a state of panic, driven mad by territorial fights between breeding males. They had completely lost their minds, charging forward in a frenzy. They were heading straight toward Kate's tent. Kate burst out of the tent and began running in the opposite direction. Her breath caught in her throat. Behind her, the buffalo's bellowing poured down like thunder. The ground shook as if exploding. Her foot caught on a stone and she stumbled, but she couldn't stop. In 3 years of research here, she had faced countless dangerous moments, but nothing like this. And then a cliff appeared. Kate stopped at the edge of the precipice. 50 meters below, rocks jutted up like sharp teeth. She looked back to see the buffalo herd rolling toward her like a massive black wave. There was nowhere left to go. Kate slowly closed her eyes. Her heart pounded as if it would explode. And then, in that very moment, a thunderous roar tore through the savannah. Kate's eyes flew open. An unbelievable scene was unfolding before her. From the rocky hill above, a massive golden lion leaped down like lightning, and behind him, an entire pride of lions poured down the slope. The lions formed a line in front of Kate. Like a living shield, they created a formation to protect her. The massive male lion at the front roared once more, powerfully, toward the buffalo herd. Kate's gaze stopped at the male lion's right front paw. There, clearly visible in the sunlight, was a large, distinct scar. Kate's lips trembled. It was Simba. Six months ago, Kate had been staying at a remote observation point, 30 kilometers from camp, for 3 days. Late in the afternoon, Kate sat outside her tent, organizing her observation notes. Suddenly, the air changed. The hair on her body stood on end. It was the instinctive feeling of danger. She slowly raised her head, and her heart stopped. Less than 10 meters away stood a massive male lion. Slowly, very slowly, he was approaching her. The lion's shadow, cast by the afternoon sun, stretched long across the ground. Kate froze. The tranquilizer gun was in the corner inside the tent. There wasn't even time to reach for it. The lion kept coming without stopping. 8 meters, 5 meters, 3 meters. Kate accepted everything. As an animal researcher, dying in the wild was perhaps one form of destiny. She slowly closed her eyes. But the lion suddenly stopped, just 2 meters in front of the tent entrance. And then he collapsed, as if his knees had given out. A heavy sound rang out as dust rose. Kate's eyes snapped open. The lion lay on the ground, breathing heavily. In his eyes was not aggression, but despair. It was as if he was begging, pleading for help. Kate remained frozen in place for a long moment. But her researcher's instinct and curiosity moved her. Carefully, she stepped out of the tent and approached, one step at a time. The lion didn't move. He only continued to breathe heavily. And the moment Kate truly saw the lion, something inside her chest collapsed. His emaciated body clearly revealed his ribs. What had once been a majestic form was now nothing but skin and bones, especially on his right front paw and neck. These were the marks of defeat in a power struggle within the pride, the traces of being exiled. In this condition, he couldn't have hunted. In his eyes, the spark of life flickered faintly. Kate fell into deep contemplation. If she left him like this, he would surely die. Kate picked up the radio with trembling hands. She requested emergency rescue from the camp director. Over the radio came the voice of Camp Director Johnson. At first, it was a firm refusal. Intervening with individual wildlife went against the research institution's principles. That, too, is nature's way, Ms. Morrison. Johnson's voice was cold. But Kate didn't give up. She persuaded him that they could study how an exiled male lion develops survival strategies. Desperation seeped into her voice. A long silence followed. "All right, I'll send the helicopter at dawn tomorrow." Johnson finally approved. That night, Kate stayed awake beside the lion. The lion occasionally moaned in pain but didn't attack. In fact, when Kate wiped around his mouth with a water-soaked cloth, he didn't even show wariness, as if he trusted her. The next morning at dawn, the helicopter arrived, and the lion was transported to camp. Inside a temporary cage, the veterinarian conducted a thorough examination. Fortunately, there was no internal organ damage. However, dehydration and malnutrition were at dangerous levels, and the laceration on his right front paw was deeply infected. There would be scarring, they said. Kate nodded. If they could just save him, that was enough. Treatment began. Antibiotic injections, IV fluids, wound cleaning, and suturing. For the first few days, the lion barely moved. Kate sat in front of the cage every day, watching over him. On the third day, a miracle happened. The lion ate meat for the first time, slowly, bit by bit. Kate breathed a sigh of relief. After a week, the lion gradually regained his strength. After 2 weeks, he began walking around inside the cage. A large scar remained on his right front paw, but there was no problem with walking. Kate suddenly thought it would be nice if the lion had a name.
"I think I'll call you Simba."
And she chose the name Simba. It was her favorite name from childhood. After a month, Simba had become accustomed to people. He showed no aggression at all. At Johnson's suggestion, they opened the cage door. Simba slowly stepped outside. He stretched greatly, as if savoring his freedom, but he didn't run away. He walked slowly around the camp, then sat down beside Kate. Kate carefully reached out her hand. Her hand touched Simba's mane. It was soft and warm. Simba closed his eyes and remained still. 2 months later, Simba had completely recovered his health. Muscle had returned to his body, and life sparkled in his eyes. His confident gait had returned. It was time to return to the wild. At the camp entrance, the time for farewell came. All the researchers and veterinarians came out to see Simba off. Simba slowly looked around the camp. This place where he had stayed for 2 months. The place where he had regained his life. And he looked at Kate. Kate stroked Simba's head one last time. "Take care, Simba. Stay healthy. Don't get hurt." Simba hesitated for a moment. In those golden eyes, it seemed there was so much he wanted to say. And then he slowly turned and walked toward the savannah. Kate watched until his form grew smaller and smaller in the distance. Kate returned to her daily routine and resumed the research that had been interrupted. Sometimes she would think of Simba and smile. Was he doing well? Was he healthy? And now, the Simba whose life I had saved 6 months ago was protecting me. Simba moved, fast as lightning, unstoppable. The female lions of the pride also charged at the flanks. Sharp teeth and claws flashed in the sunlight. The buffalo hesitated, but they didn't slow down. They were still charging. The lions targeted exactly the weakness of the buffalo herd. They continued attacking the flanks, driving the herd away from Kate. One massive male buffalo resisted. He lowered his horns and charged at Simba, but Simba dodged to the side with incredible agility and clawed the buffalo's flank. It was a warning. Back down. The buffalo herd finally turned completely. They disappeared in the opposite direction, leaving only dust. Kate could finally breathe. Her heart was still pounding wildly. Simba slowly turned and looked at Kate. He was massive and majestic. The emaciated appearance from 6 months ago was completely gone. His perfectly grown mane flew in the wind, and his powerful muscles gleamed in the sunlight. Thanks to Kate, Simba had become king of the lions again. How many fights had he endured over 6 months? How many challenges had he overcome? but he had done it. He stood at the head of the pride, leading the female lions and young males. And Simba seemed to know well that it was thanks to Kate that he had reclaimed his throne. Simba slowly approached Kate and lowered his massive head. The king of the savannah bowed his head before a human. Kate stroked Simba's mane with trembling hands. Her chest burned with emotion. Then something amazing happened. The lions behind Simba began lowering their heads one by one. The female lions, the young males, all of them showed respect to Kate. The entire pride paid tribute to the human their king had acknowledged. Simba raised his head and looked straight at Kate. In his eyes was deep gratitude, and he turned and pointed toward the camp. It seemed Simba wanted to safely escort Kate back to camp. Kate walked alongside Simba toward the camp. The other lions in the pride began following. A pride of lions following a human. It was a sight impossible to find anywhere in the wild. The lions protected her, vigilantly watching their surroundings. They were carefully escorting the benefactor of their king. After walking for about 30 minutes, the camp appeared in the distance. But Simba followed all the way to the front of the camp as if to confirm Kate's safety to the very end. The guard in the watchtower froze while checking through binoculars. Kate was walking toward them, surrounded by a pride of lions. He urgently pressed the emergency bell. The camp instantly erupted into chaos. Researchers evacuated into buildings and guards came out with their guns. The sound of safety catches being released could be heard. Kate ran in front of the lion pride and spread her arms wide.
Don't shoot! Simba is back, and Simba saved my life!
Kate's voice echoed throughout the entire camp. Johnson rushed out of the building and checked through binoculars, and his eyes widened. It was Simba, the lion they had saved. The scar on his right front paw was clear. Everyone in the camp held their breath. The lion pride stopped quietly, 20 meters from the camp. The guards slowly lowered their weapons. Kate slowly approached Simba. Simba also stepped forward. They looked into each other's eyes one last time. Simba growled low. It wasn't a threat. It was a greeting, and he slowly turned. The lion pride slowly walked toward the savannah. Their silhouettes in the afternoon sun were majestic. It was the march of a king. Simba stopped on a hill and looked back once more. And he roared long and loud toward the sky. Kate raised her hand high and waved. After that day, Kate would often spot the lion pride on distant hills when she went out for research. At the head of that pride, Simba was always there, and beside him were female lions and cubs. Simba had become a true king, and the pride was thriving. Kate sometimes thought, if I had turned away from Simba that day, could he have become king of the lions again? And could I have survived the buffalo attack? Some bonds transcend species. Some acts of kindness are never forgotten. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe. We'll continue to bring you these special moments between nature and humanity.